Guys, I have a fun book for you today. It's called Mother Goose. Not Mother Goose, Mother Bruce. And the author of this book, Ryan T. Higgins, uses his really big imagination to write this great story about a bear who becomes responsible for taking care of a bunch of baby geese. And it's a perfect story for right now because if you look outside, you notice all the birds are starting to leave, a lot of them. And they're leaving because it's getting cold here. They know. Birds are just amazing animals. They know when it turns fall that it's about to turn winter and it's about to get really cold for them here. So they just pack up and they fly further south where it's warmer and they stay down there for the winter, nice and toasty and warm. And then when it gets warm again up here, they fly back up. So be looking for them. You're starting to see them all up on the power lines, seeing bunches of them flying over. Look for them. So without further ado, Mother Bruce. Look at his cranky face. I love Bruce. Here's where Bruce lives. See his little forest home? That's where he lives. Mother Bruce. Here he is eating all by himself. Bruce was a bear who lived all by himself. He was a grump. Look at his face. He looks like a big grouch. He did not like sunny days. He did not like the rain. He did not like cute little animals. He's a big-time grouch. Bruce only liked one thing. Eggs. Good morning, Mrs. Sparrow. He collected them from all over the forest. Look, he's climbing into her tree, and he's stealing her eggs. But Bruce didn't eat eggs raw like other bears. Instead, he cooked them into fancy recipes that he found on the internet. See, we can already tell this is a fantasy. We know bears don't use a computer and cook their eggs. One day, Bruce came across a recipe for hard-boiled goose eggs drizzled with honey salmon sauce. He's got his tongue out. It must look good. So he went to get the ingredients. Do you really walk around the forest with a shopping cart to get your ingredients? First, he caught a few salmon. Then he collected honey from a local beehive. He liked to support local business, you see. Last, he went to Mrs. Goose's nest to pay her a visit. Are these eggs free-range organic? At home, Bruce prepared the eggs for hard boiling. But the fire in his stove fizzled, so he went out to get wood. When Bruce came back, he was met with an unwelcome surprise. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think those eggs did? Mama! They hatched. Bruce became the victim of mistaken identity. Look, it scared him so bad he threw all his stuff. Bruce wanted hard-boiled eggs, not goslings. That's the word for baby geese, goslings. He supposed he could settle for buttered goslings on toast, but for some reason he lost his appetite. Look how cute they are, sitting up on the toast. Little baby geese. Bruce scooped up the little geese and stomped back to their nest. I will have to ask Mrs. Goose about her return policy. Only to find Mrs. Goose had flown south early. She says, be back in April, so she's going south where it's warmer. Bruce left the goslings there anyway and went back home. What do you think they're going to do? Mama, Mama. But he was followed. Bruce was very stern and said things like, go away, and I am not your mother, and also, I liked you better when you were eggs. Bruce could take it no longer and became extra grumpy with them. Roar. Did it faze him? Nope. It didn't work. Goslings always follow their mother, even if she is a he and he is a bear. Mama! So look, he's walking through the forest, and they're even starting to imitate how he walks. They're even starting to walk grumpy, just like Bruce. Isn't that cute? Bruce was stuck with them. He tried to make the best of it. Look, he's teaching them to swim. It was hard work. Blech. Ew, yuck. There they are taking a nap. As the seasons passed, Bruce watched the pesky goslings grow older. First they were annoying baby geese, then they were stubborn teenage geese, and then they were boring adult geese. Then one fall afternoon he saw the other goose families flying south. Finally, he'd be rid of those geese and he could take a long winter nap. Bruce explained migration. That's what we talked about, where the birds are going south. That's called migration. But they didn't listen. They just put on coats. They said, no, we're staying where it's cold. We'll just wear our jackets. Crazy geese. Bruce needed the geese to leave, so he got creative. Look, he's trying to slingshot them dudes out of there. That's funny. Nothing worked. The geese would not leave Bruce. He says, sigh. So Bruce decided to pack some bags and take the geese into town. They boarded a bus. Where do you think they're going? Where would you take geese if you were Bruce? And migrated to Miami. They went to Florida. They're on the beach. Look. Now, every winter, Bruce and his geese head south together. They laze about at the beach in tacky shirts, sipping ice-cold lemonade, while Bruce dreams of new recipes. Recipes that do not hatch. Look at them. They're all down there having a good time in Florida. Now look, the little baby turtle hatches, and he looks at the goose and he says, Mama? Do you think it's going to start all over again and the goose is going to have to adopt the baby turtle? What do you think? It could happen. I love Mother Bruce. There's actually a second book that goes with this one, and I'm going to read it tomorrow, so make sure you check that out.